Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will divide your life into before and after. Most people move through the world like prey. They react, they hope, they wait for permission. But you're here because something inside you refuses to crawl. You came to Machiavellian mode to learn how to dominate, not to beg. Understand this: power is not given, power is taken, strategically, silently, and without apology. A true predator never announces himself. He studies, he calculates, he moves only when the outcome is already decided. That's how kings rise, by thinking 10 moves ahead while everyone else is still celebrating their first. You're stepping into a mindset where emotions serve strategy, not sabotage it. Where patience is a weapon, where silence is a trap, where presence alone destabilizes the room. This is the point where boys break and men sharpen. If you're ready for that transformation, comment, "I rise by strategy, not by chance." Let the world see you're not here to play meek, because from this moment forward, you will think like a predator and move like a king. And by the end of this monologue, you'll understand why the untouchable never raise their voice. They simply raise their standards. Number 1, the mind of a predator. A predator doesn't chase chaos. He creates order inside it. He doesn't move because he's angry, emotional, or provoked. He moves because he has calculated every variable and eliminated every doubt. Power begins in the mind long before it shows in the world, and the first step to becoming untouchable is mastering the inner battlefield. Most men crumble because they negotiate with their weaknesses, but a predator silences them without debate. He knows that the world rewards the disciplined, not the distracted. You must train your mind to see people not as friends or enemies, but as pieces on a board, some useful, some dangerous, all predictable. Study their patterns, their tells, their blind spots. This is how you seize advantage without lifting a finger. Understand, strategy is a language, and silence is its sharpest syllable. The less you speak, the more you perceive. The more you perceive, the harder you are to deceive. Comment, "My mind is my first weapon," if you understand that your thoughts must obey you, not the world. From this point on, you don't react. You observe, calculate, and decide. That's how predators rise, and that's how kings stay in power. Number 2, the calculated kingdom. A king does not rise by chance. He rises by constructing his world with surgical intention, shaping every interaction, every alliance, and every silence into tools of advancement. He understands that domination is rarely loud, rarely emotional, rarely impulsive. Instead, it is a slow accumulation of leverage, built through observation, restraint, and the ability to let other men expose themselves while he remains unreadable. A king moves as if time bends for him because he never wastes energy on noise or ego battles. He studies the battlefield long before stepping onto it, mapping power sources, influence lines, and hidden agendas, so he knows the outcome before the first word is spoken. The average man is trapped in reaction, but the calculated king engineers outcomes by planting ideas, creating incentives, and letting others believe the choices were their own. This is how control becomes invisible and therefore unchallenged. You must learn to build your kingdom the same way, brick by brick, decision by decision, advantage by advantage, until your presence alone shifts the balance of any room you enter. Every relationship must serve a purpose, every alliance must justify its cost, and every conversation must either reveal information or reinforce your position, because a king without strategy is merely a man wearing a crown he cannot defend. Do not rush power. Cultivate it through intention, patience, and mastery over your own impulses, for the man who cannot command himself will never command a kingdom. Comment, "Power bends to precision," if you understand that your environment must be engineered, not endured, and that influence comes not from force, but from structure. From this moment forward, see your life as a territory to be fortified, expanded, and defended, and move with the cold certainty of a ruler who knows that every step builds the empire others will one day fear to challenge. Number 3, the strategic shadow. The most dangerous man in any room is never the loud one, the impulsive one, or the one desperate to be feared. The most dangerous man is the one who watches everything, says little, and reveals nothing. He operates from the shadows not because he is afraid, but because he understands that true power moves unseen until the moment it chooses to strike. To master strategic dominance, you must learn to live in that shadowed realm where perception becomes your armor and invisibility becomes your advantage. People expose themselves when they believe you are harmless, passive, or uninterested. Let them talk, let them confess, let them underestimate you, because their arrogance is intelligence in your hands. A strategic shadow studies the ambitions of others, the fractures in their confidence, the insecurities that steer their decisions, and the desires that make them predictable. He does not confront noise, he redirects it. He does not challenge fools, he lets them collapse under the weight of their own recklessness. Control comes not from force, but from anticipation, and anticipation is born from silence. When you become the man who knows everything and reveals nothing, you become the man no one can manipulate, pressure, or corner. You must cultivate a presence that is calm, unreadable, and unmoved, because uncertainty makes others cautious, and caution gives you leverage. Your silence becomes a mirror in which others expose themselves. Your patience becomes a trap they willingly step into. Your restraint becomes the signal that you are not playing the same game as them. You are orchestrating it. Comment, I master the unseen battlefield if you grasp that the shadows are not a place of hiding, but a place of command. Embrace the role of the quiet strategist, the calm observer, the man who does not rush to speak or act because he already knows the outcome. Let people doubt you. Let them overlook you. Let them misread you. Every misconception is a weapon you can use. Move with precision, think with cold clarity, and remain unseen until the moment your influence becomes undeniable. That is how shadows shape empires and how men like you become untouchable. Number 4. The art of controlled detachment. Power does not belong to the man who feels everything. It belongs to the man who feels everything but is ruled by nothing. Controlled detachment is the discipline that separates the ordinary from the untouchable, because the moment your emotions become predictable, someone else becomes your puppeteer. A powerful man understands that attachment creates leverage, and leverage in the hands of the wrong person becomes a blade against your throat. So he cultivates a mental coldness, not emptiness but clarity, that allows him to see people as they are, not as he wishes them to be. He studies their intentions without assuming loyalty, he accepts their words without believing promises, and he measures their value without losing himself in sentiment. Detachment is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. It is the refusal to let temporary feelings sabotage long-term strategy. Most men crumble because they chase validation, react to disrespect, or cling to connections that drain their strength. But a man practicing controlled detachment can walk away from anything that weakens his focus. Friendship, romance, opportunity, even comfort, because he understands that a kingdom cannot be built with shaky hands. When you detach, the world becomes clearer. Motives stand out, manipulation becomes obvious, and your decisions finally align with your purpose rather than your impulses. This does not mean isolating yourself emotionally, but rather choosing when and where you allow emotion to exist. You must be warm when it serves you, cold when required, and unreadable always. Attachments should be earned through loyalty, consistency, and alignment with your mission, not granted by default. This is how you protect your energy from parasites, your ambitions from distraction, and your mind from instability. Emotional discipline is the steel spine beneath power, the invisible armor that stops the world from piercing you. And when you master it, you'll notice something remarkable. People respect you more when they cannot shake you, influence you, or provoke you. They sense the difference between a man anchored in purpose and a man drifting in emotion. Comment, I choose clarity over chaos. If you understand that every reaction gives someone power and every silence gives it back to you, from this point on, your emotions are tools, not chains. Your connections are chosen, not inherited. Your standards are firm, not negotiable. Move forward as the kind of man who can feel deeply yet remain unbroken. who can care without losing control, and who can walk away without leaving pieces of himself behind. Detachment is not the opposite of strength, it is the blueprint for it. Number 5. The unreadable fortress. To become truly untouchable, you must transform your mind, your demeanor, and your presence into an unreadable fortress, a structure so solid, so enigmatic, so impenetrable that no one can predict your next step or influence your internal state. The average man wears his emotions on his face, his fears in his tone, and his weaknesses in his decisions. But the man who rises to dominance is the man who gives the world nothing to dissect. When people cannot read you, they cannot control you, manipulate you, or prepare for you. They are left guessing, and in the realm of power, uncertainty is a slow poison that corrodes their confidence while sharpening yours. To become unreadable, you must first master the discipline of withholding. Hold your reactions hostage, let your silence do the speaking, and allow your neutrality to unsettle those who expect emotional theatrics. The moment someone thinks they've figured you out, you shift strategy. The moment someone tries to provoke you, you remain still. The moment someone seeks validation from you, you give them only measured acknowledgement. Your unpredictability becomes a psychological weapon because people fear what they cannot anticipate. You are not cold, you are controlled. You are not distant, you are deliberate. You are not passive, you are calculating your next advantage while others reveal theirs. Think of yourself as a fortress with only one open gate, your purpose. Everything else, your vulnerabilities, frustrations, doubts, attachments, insecurities, remains locked behind walls only you have the key to. This is how you prevent people from using your humanity as leverage against you. And as your emotional opacity grows, something powerful happens. People start projecting their own interpretations onto your silence, revealing more about their mindset than you ever reveal about yours. They become predictable while you remain a mystery. They become impulsive while you remain composed. They become emotional while you remain strategic. This imbalance is where your power multiplies. Do not rush to correct misunderstandings. Do not explain your motives. Do not justify your standards. Explanations dilute authority, and clarity given too freely becomes a gift to the wrong audience. Sometimes the greatest form of dominance is letting others wonder, what is he thinking? What is he planning? Why doesn't he react like everyone else? Maintain a calm exterior even when strategizing intensely within. A controlled man appears invincible because chaos cannot penetrate him. Comment, my silence is my stronghold. If you understand that unreadability is not about hiding, it is about choosing what the world earns the right to see. From now on, you move like a fortress with shifting gates, revealing yourself only on your own terms, at your own pace, when it serves your mission. Your unpredictability becomes the storm on the horizon, the quiet threat, the presence people respect, even fear, because they cannot measure you. And that is the essence of becoming untouchable. Number 6, the power of silent influence. Silent influence is the highest form of control because it allows you to shape outcomes without exposing intention, manipulate direction without appearing involved, and guide the actions of others while maintaining the illusion that they are acting of their own free will. True power is not in raising your voice, demanding obedience, or forcing compliance. True power is the ability to bend reality through subtlety, through presence, perception, and the quiet mastery of human psychology. Most men fail to understand this. They believe impact comes from aggression, confrontation, and loud posturing. But these displays reveal insecurity, not dominance. A powerful man knows that influence grows strongest in silence, when your words are rare and therefore valuable, when your decisions seem effortless because the groundwork was laid long before you made them, and when your presence alone shifts how others behave. Silent influence begins with self-command, the ability to remain composed under pressure, unbothered by insults, unmoved by flattery, and immune to manipulation. When you refuse to react emotionally, people instinctively recalibrate around you, sensing an authority that doesn't need to announce itself. You do not chase validation, it circles back to you. You do not explain yourself, they adjust to you. You do not reveal your intentions, they reveal theirs. And this reversal of psychological gravity is where mastery begins. To amplify silent influence, you must learn to observe deeply, study how people speak, how they posture, how they shift when uncomfortable, how they respond when their ego is scratched or their expectations are unmet. Every detail is leverage. When you understand someone's insecurities, you understand their vulnerabilities. When you understand their desires, you understand their leash. And with this knowledge, you don't need to coerce, you simply guide. Subtle compliments placed with precision, well-timed pauses that create discomfort, strategic silence that forces others to reveal more, controlled detachment that makes your attention feel like currency. These are the tools of a man who influences without appearing to. People naturally gravitate toward the calm leader in chaotic environments, the composed thinker in emotional storms, the man who seems to know what others haven't yet realized. You must become that gravitational force, the one who speaks slowly, moves deliberately, chooses his words with intention, and uses silence as a psychological mirror that exposes everyone standing before him. Silent influence also requires strategic ambiguity, never letting people fully know what you think, what you feel, or what your next move will be. Predictability gives others a blueprint to dismantle you. Ambiguity keeps them cautious. You don't lie. You simply reveal selectively. Let people assume, guess, project, and interpret. Their own minds will do more work for you than persuasion ever could. You must learn to speak in layers, say enough to guide the direction, but never enough for someone to map your full intention. Your presence becomes a puzzle they can't solve, a riddle they try to decode, and in that effort, they expose themselves while strengthening your position. And remember this: silence is not passivity. Silence is strategy. Silence is pressure. Silence is power. When used correctly, it forces others to confront their own thoughts, insecurities, and expectations. It makes them uncomfortable enough to reveal themselves, eager enough to seek your approval, and uncertain enough to give you control. You do not need to intimidate. Your calmness becomes intimidating on its own. You do not need to assert dominance. Your lack of reaction asserts it more effectively than any threat could. Influence becomes effortless because it is psychological, not physical, perceived, not declared. But silent influence also demands emotional discipline. You cannot be pulled into meaningless debates, baited by provocations, or lured into emotional traps designed to expose your weakness. You must remain centered, not numb, but stable, not disconnected, but controlled. Emotional outbursts are luxuries of the powerless. Restraint is the signature of the dominant. A man who cannot control his tongue cannot control his destiny. A man who cannot control his reactions cannot control a room. A man who cannot control his impulses cannot influence anyone with significance. To embody silent influence, you must become the man whose approval is scarce, whose words are carefully chosen, whose presence is felt even when unspoken. You don't need to be the loudest, just the most intentional. You don't need to be everywhere, just strategically placed. You don't need to impress, just command through consistency, intelligence, and composure. When the world sees that you cannot be rushed, cannot be rattled, and cannot be easily accessed, they begin to treat you as a figure of authority without you ever demanding it. That is the essence of influence. Earning respect without seeking it, commanding attention without asking for it, and directing outcomes without revealing the hand that guided them. Comment: my silence rewrites the room. If you understand that influence is not volume, it is precision, it is perception, it is psychological gravity. And from this moment forward, you will move as the man whose silence changes conversations, whose presence alters dynamics, and whose unseen hand shapes the world around him. Number 7. The social chessboard of power. Power is rarely taken by force. It is taken by positioning, by perception, by understanding the hidden psychology operating beneath every conversation, every alliance, every rivalry, every moment of silence, every subtle gesture, and every decision made in the presence of others. To master the social chessboard, you must stop moving like an emotional participant and begin moving like a grand strategist, cold, observant, deliberate, and several steps ahead of everyone who thinks they're playing the same game. Most people move blindly. They talk without calculating the weight of their words. They reveal intentions without realizing those intentions can be used against them. They act before understanding the consequences. They trust before observing patterns. They assume before gathering proof. They chase validation instead of acquiring leverage. They respond emotionally rather than strategically. But you, if you are to become a true Machiavellian tactician, you must reverse everything they do. You must move through social environments with the mindset of a man who is studying a battlefield, not engaging in casual interaction. Every room you walk into becomes data. Every person becomes an archetype. Every expression becomes a signal. Every insecurity becomes an opening. Every ego becomes a predictable puppet. The first rule of social chess is simple. Observe before you engage. Powerful men gather intelligence before they make moves. They watch dynamics unfold. They pay attention to who interrupts whom, who seeks validation, who competes for attention, who defers when challenged, who manipulates with charm, who becomes defensive when questioned, who becomes quiet in the presence of authority, who tries too hard to impress. These details reveal rank structures, ambitions, fears, and motivations. And once you can map these psychological coordinates, you no longer interact blindly. You interact with intention. People reveal who they are not in their statements, but in their patterns, how they treat those beneath them, how they behave when ignored, how they act when praised, and how quickly they shift when they feel threatened. The fool listens to words. The strategist studies patterns. The second rule is positional dominance. A powerful man never places himself where his presence diminishes his value. He does not chase crowds. He does not linger in circles that drain him. He does not compete for attention. Instead, he positions himself so that his presence feels intentional and rare, and therefore valuable. Scarcity increases worth, and the less accessible you are, the more people wonder about you, respect you, and attempt to draw closer. Appear when it matters. Withdraw when it does not. Speak when it changes the direction of the conversation. Stay silent when speaking would reveal strategy. You don't need to dominate every moment. You only need to dominate the moments that matter. The third rule is strategic alliances, not friendships. A Machiavellian strategist does not surround himself with people based on comfort. He surrounds himself with people who serve a purpose. Emotional loyalty means nothing without utility. You must ask, does this person elevate me? Provide access, provide information, provide opportunities, strengthen my position? If the answer is no, then they do not belong close to you. And if someone shows signs of envy, sabotage, or unreliability, you remove them early before they become a liability. Alliances are not about affection, they are about alignment. Two people moving towards similar ambitions can be far more powerful together than apart, but only if the alliance is clean, balanced, and mutually beneficial. The fourth rule is controlled perception, the art of deciding how others see you. Never allow the world to define your persona. You must craft the way you appear through intention, your tone, your silence, your pacing, your level of engagement, your boundaries, your unpredictability. People must find you difficult to read, but impossible to ignore. You don't need to appear perfect. You only need to appear unshakable. When people sense that you are stable, mission-driven, and emotionally disciplined, they automatically assign authority to you. Appear competent but understated, confident but calm, present but mysterious. This is how you create psychological gravity. People orbit around that which they do not fully understand but instinctively respect. Mystery is magnetic. The fifth rule is asymmetrical communication, the power of speaking less, revealing less, yet learning more. The less you say, the more others talk. The more they talk, the more they expose their intentions, insecurities, ambitions, and weaknesses. Use questions, silence, and subtle cues to draw out information while protecting your own. Every conversation should give you insight while costing you nothing. Let others feel comfortable opening up to you while you remain strategically selective. The more someone reveals, the easier it is to influence them without force. The sixth rule is the sacrifice move. Knowing when giving something small yields something powerful in return. This may mean letting someone else take the credit temporarily, giving a small compliment to build rapport, offering help that builds long-term loyalty, or stepping back so someone else overextends themselves. You sacrifice small to gain big, but never sacrifice in ways that diminish your value. The seventh rule is never play on someone else's emotional tempo. The moment you allow another person to set the pace of conversation, argument, or decision-making, you have surrendered positional power. Slow the tempo. Control the frame. Respond when you choose, not when they demand. When someone rushes you, wait. When someone provokes you, remain still. When someone pressures you, lean back. The man who controls timing controls the board. Finally, the eighth rule is the long game. A social chessboard is not conquered in days. It is conquered through consistency, composure, and patience. Most men sabotage themselves by reacting too quickly or revealing too much too soon. But you, as a strategist, must think in arcs, not moments. Influence grows quietly. Authority develops subtly. Dominance emerges steadily. The ones who seek instant results expose themselves. The ones who move with patience become inevitable. Comment: I move with precision and purpose. If you understand that the social world is not chaos, it is a game, and you are now the player who knows how to win it. Number 8. The discipline of relentless self-mastery. Self-mastery is the foundation upon which every form of real power is built, and the man who seeks to rise into true dominance must first understand that the greatest battlefield he will ever face is the one within himself. Mastery is not a moment, a mood, or a burst of temporary motivation. It is a long, disciplined transformation that requires eliminating weakness, amplifying strength, and shaping identity with the precision of a strategist and the intensity of a warrior. Most men fail because they allow comfort to seduce them, impulses to guide them, emotions to rule them, and distractions to derail them. But a man committed to self-mastery becomes a different creature entirely. He becomes a force that does not bend to circumstance, opinion, or temptation. He trains his mind to be sharper than doubt, his body to be stronger than laziness, and his focus to be more consistent than the world's noise. He understands that discipline is not punishment. It is liberation from the chaos that consumes ordinary men. Self-mastery begins with self-awareness, the courage to confront your weaknesses without denial, excuses, or blame. You must identify the habits that weaken you, the people who drain you, the desires that distract you, and the fears that limit you. Once seen clearly, they lose power over you, and you can begin the process of replacing them with habits that elevate your potential. Then comes emotional regulation, the ability to command your inner weather regardless of external storms. A man who cannot control his anger becomes predictable. A man who cannot control his desire becomes exploitable. A man who cannot control his fear becomes paralyzed. But a man who regulates his emotions becomes unshakable. He moves from strategy, not impulse, from clarity, not confusion, from intention, not reaction. Next is the destruction of dependency on external validation. When you build your identity on the approval of others, you give them the power to create or destroy your confidence. But when you determine your worth internally, based on discipline, effort, and purpose, you become untouchable. Self-trust grows from keeping your word to yourself, showing up when it's hard, following through when no one is watching, and maintaining standards even when no one would blame you for dropping them. Over time, this creates an inner authority that cannot be shaken by criticism, failure, or doubt. Finally, self-mastery requires solitude. the space where your true identity forms without interference. In solitude, you refine your vision, confront your flaws, and strengthen your purpose. You emerge from it sharper, stronger, and more aligned with the man you are becoming. This is the essence of relentless self-mastery, not perfection but evolution. True self-mastery also demands that you build a life structure that constantly reinforces your strongest identity. This means creating routines that sharpen your mind and body, eliminating the environments that dilute your strength, and surrounding yourself only with people whose presence aligns with your mission. Weak men wait for motivation. Powerful men rely on systems. A disciplined man knows his mornings define his momentum, his habits define his results, and his standards define his destiny. He does not move aimlessly or live reactively. He operates with intention in every decision, understanding that each choice either reinforces his power or weakens it. Consistency becomes his secret weapon. The average man trains when he feels like it. The master trains because it is non-negotiable. The average man reads when convenient. The master studies because knowledge sharpens strategy. The average man avoids discomfort. The master embraces it because he knows discomfort builds resilience. Over time, this consistency compounds into a presence that others can feel. People sense the discipline in your posture, your silence, your work ethic, and your emotional stability. They do not know the battles you fought within yourself. They only see the strength you carry effortlessly. Another pillar of self-mastery is radical responsibility. This means acknowledging that everything in your life, your success, your failure, your habits, your environment, is a reflection of the choices you made or tolerated. Weak men blame circumstances, luck, timing, or other people. But powerful men understand that responsibility is the birthplace of control. When you take ownership, you remove excuses from your life and open the door to transformation. You stop hoping for a better life and begin building one. You stop waiting for opportunity and start creating it. You stop being a passenger and become the architect of your future. And with ownership comes power, because the man who owns his life commands it. Finally, relentless self-mastery requires an unwavering commitment to evolution. You do not arrive, you ascend. You do not settle, you sharpen. You do not become comfortable, you become capable. Every day is another strike of the hammer shaping the weapon you are becoming. You ask yourself, how can I become stronger? How can I become smarter? How can I become calmer? How can I become more strategic? And then you execute, not occasionally, but relentlessly. Self-mastery is the discipline of rising above your former self again and again until the man you once were becomes unrecognizable. It is the path of the few, but it is the path of dominion, sovereignty, and unshakable power. A man who commits to this path becomes a presence others cannot ignore. His silence carries weight, his discipline commands respect, and his confidence radiates without arrogance. He is not merely in control of his life, he becomes the axis around which his world rotates. Self-mastery transforms him into the kind of man whose actions create momentum, whose standards inspire fear in the undisciplined, and whose consistency builds an aura of inevitability. People notice when a man is forged rather than formed by chance. They sense the difference in how he moves, how he speaks, how he evaluates, and how he chooses. And while the undisciplined cling to comfort, he rises into power, slowly, steadily, relentlessly. This is the man who cannot be shaken, cannot be manipulated, and cannot be stopped. This is the man self-mastery creates. Strength becomes your identity. Number 9. The cold advantage of emotional distance. Emotional distance is a weapon, a shield, and a strategy all at once, and the man who masters it gains an advantage so potent that others feel it long before they understand it. Most people live entangled in emotional webs they never question. Attachments built on insecurity, relationships built on fear of being alone, reactions driven by ego, validation, desire, or the need to be understood. They do not realize that every emotional attachment creates a point of leverage, and every point of leverage can be used against them. But a man who cultivates emotional distance moves through the world with a cold clarity that others cannot match. He does not detach because he is empty inside. He detaches because he refuses to allow anyone the power to disrupt his direction, distort his thinking, or destabilize his mission. Emotional distance sharpens your perception. When you are not emotionally entangled, you begin to see people exactly as they are, not as your feelings paint them, not as your hopes imagine them, not as their words claim to be, but as their patterns reveal them. You start noticing how quickly people change when they are denied attention, how eager they become when their expectations are not immediately met, how uncomfortable they feel around someone who cannot be emotionally manipulated. Their insecurities become obvious, their hidden motives become visible, and their weaknesses become predictable. And once you can predict someone, you can influence them without force, pressure, or conflict. Emotional distance gives you leverage in every interaction. While others react impulsively, you remain composed. While others seek reassurance, you remain self-contained. While others panic when faced with uncertainty, you become the calm center they gravitate toward. This composure creates psychological authority. People instinctively respect the one who remains steady when they are unstable. In conflict, your silence becomes unsettling. In negotiations, your patience becomes power. In relationships, your independence becomes a standard others rise to meet. Emotional distance also protects you from the manipulation tactics the world constantly uses: guilt traps, emotional baiting, passive aggression, emotional blackmail, and seduction designed to pull you off your path. When someone tries to manipulate a man with emotional distance, they fail because there is nothing to grab onto, no insecurity to exploit, no desperation to leverage, no emotional need to weaponize. Their attempts bounce off you like blunt arrows against iron. Yet emotional distance does not mean emotional numbness. It does not mean shutting down feelings or living disconnected from your humanity. True emotional distance means you feel deeply, but you choose when, where, and how you express it. You are not a slave to emotion, you are its commander. You can care without losing control. You can love without becoming dependent. You can walk away from what diminishes you without hesitation. You remain connected to people by choice, not by fear or insecurity. This is what makes you powerful. The world cannot sway a man whose emotions do not govern his decisions. As your emotional distance grows, so does your value. People start treating you differently, not because you demand respect, but because your stability commands it. They sense you are not easily impressed, not easily provoked, and not easily swayed. They sense that your presence is intentional, not desperate. They sense that losing access to you is a consequence they cannot easily undo. And this shifts the power dynamics in your favor. You become the one others seek approval from. You become the one they try to understand. You become the one whose attention feels earned, not given. Emotional distance makes your presence a privilege. Most importantly, emotional distance frees you from the chaos of the world. It allows you to stay focused on your mission, your growth, and your evolution without being constantly pulled into emotional noise. You make choices from strength, not fear. You maintain standards without apology. You remain loyal to yourself even when the world tries to seduce, distract, or derail you. And you rise, quietly, steadily, undeniably, into a version of yourself that almost no one can influence, pressure, or break. Comment: distance gives me dominance if you understand that emotional independence is not detachment from life, it is mastery over it. Number 10. The ruler's ascent into untouchable power. Untouchable power is not achieved through momentary victories, public displays, or loud declarations. It is forged through the steady, deliberate rise of a man who knows exactly who he is, what he stands for, and where he is going, even when the world does not yet recognize it. To ascend into this state, you must understand that true dominance is not about controlling everyone. It is about controlling the environment, the flow of information, the narrative, and most importantly, yourself. A ruler does not chase recognition. Recognition chases him. He does not beg for loyalty. Loyalty forms around him because people instinctively follow the man who follows his purpose with unwavering conviction. The ascent begins the moment you stop needing permission and start acting with self-authority. You move with intention, not impulse. You speak with purpose, not noise. You make decisions from strength, not fear. And in doing so, you become a gravitational force, calm, decisive, and magnetic. But to secure this ascent, you must also build a life structure that reinforces your throne. Routines that sharpen you, boundaries that protect you, allies that elevate you, and standards that filter out everything beneath your mission. A ruler's life is designed, not improvised. He does not wake up hoping for strength. He creates strength through consistency. He does not hope for clarity. He demands it through solitude and reflection. He does not hope for respect. He earns it by operating at a level others cannot match. As you rise, you will notice something powerful. The fewer explanations you give, the more authority you project. The less accessible you are, the more you are valued. The more disciplined you become, the more opportunities pursue you rather than the other way around. And while the masses engage in emotional chaos, petty conflicts, and validation-seeking games, you will stand above, unshaken, unreadable, undeniable. This ascent also requires embracing the weight of leadership. A ruler does not collapse under responsibility. He transforms it into leverage. He knows others will doubt, criticize, misunderstand, and resent him. But he moves regardless, because he understands that greatness never evolves from appeasing mediocrity. He walks his path with a stoic, masculine certainty that radiates through every word, every silence, every calculated step. Comment: I ascend with purpose. If you understand that untouchable power is not an accident, it is the final form of strategic discipline, emotional mastery, and relentless self-command. And from this moment on, you rise not as a participant in the world's noise, but as the ruler who stands above it. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next step of your ascension.